threatened to turn the USS
Gang, just really beautiful, picturesque. You could understand every word that she was saying, and it easily. You didn't have to have subtitles. It was so real and emotional, and it was so very real. I understood her perfectly. A few times more.
Control. And when control slips away,
Hello everyone, let me give you a summary of what's going to happen. So it really boils down to two elements. It boils down to him, the supreme leader of Iran, and to the leadership of IRGC. If these two unite and say, we're not going to make any concession, we don't want to end up like Saddam Hussein and Iraq, he made all these concessions only to destroy him at the end. So we're not gonna make that mistake. If they stand up, if they say we want to fight, that's it. That's all that matters. If they say, okay, we want to surrender, we want to make concessions, then they're gonna get bombed. Plain and simple. They're gonna get bombed, but not as much as they go to war with the United States. So the bombing of the United States is gonna come. There's no way around it. There's no for him to sneak his way out of it. The bombing will come, but at a lower and more calculated locations based on intelligence that they have. Like this is where the nuclear...
Washington, where the impeachment of President Trump is happening right now. This is the House of Representatives. It's just done something historic. It has voted on the first article of impeachment, abuse of power, and the Democrats have won a majority. That means President...
បានឪចុងបងប្អូនភេជីខលចិត្ត3 25ចិត្តអស់ពុកតារាចម្រៀងទេពិសិដ្ឋហៅកូនប្រុសថាអាភ្លេចកំណើតបានឪចុងបងប្អូនប្រាក់ខែក្នុងមួយខែ350តាគួរជីឡានសេរីអីសំយោបល់បន្តិចមកលោកតា
Sage green or lime?
Luca Serafim.
My brain told me it was someone going like this with both hands really fast up into the sky. But then after it passed the tree, I looked at it sideways and I realized it was just the duck swimming in a lake.
It is 1:30 in the morning and Donald Trump fucking dares to post this. Agitator and perhaps insurrectionist. Alex Pretty's stock has gone way down with the just released video of him screaming and spitting in the face of a very calm and under control ICE officer and then crazily kicking in a new and very expensive government vehicle. So
There has been no contact between me and Mr. Witkoff in recent days, nor has any request for negotiations been made by us. Various
today is the most...
So have you ever wondered how an aircraft carrier powers an...
Marjorie Taylor Greene is getting revenge at Donald Trump.
How do we know this video is not AI? We shared this video of Alex...
Imagine being a 20-year-old and you get sued for $30 million. Well, if you're...
Yeah, that's not worse.
Damn, that's pretty bad though. I don't think I've seen a splinter.
I had tweezers and I don't think I have a scar about it.
Dương chậm mơពី2026ហ្នឹងណាគេស្និទ្ធស្នាលមួយយើងថៃថ្ងៃមីកាវីនមកកោសអញហ្នឹងអញហាញអញចូល slow mode ទេមីស្កតដឹងហើយប្រើអញដើម្បីលុយមិនកកអ្នកក្បត់ចិត្តខ្ញុំចឹង
The biggest humiliation of African presidents happened in the United States of
Alan Shearer or Harry Kane?
Harry Kane.
Harry Kane or Luis Suarez?
Suarez.
Luis Suarez or Diego Costa?
In Premier League?
Sí.
Premier League.
Yes.
Two Premier Leagues. Diego Costa.
Diego Costa or Thierry Henry?
And he,
Thierry Henry or Didier Drogba?
Chelsea for me. Yeah.
Didier Drogba?
Didier.
Didier Drogba or Sergio Aguero?
For me, Chelsea. Didier.
Didier. Yeah. នៅលើដំបូងផ្ទះក៏យើងអាចដាំទៅពាំងវិជូបានដែរណាបងមើលណែអូយពាំងវិជូគាត់ល្អល្អមែនតើ from the start
អ្នកនរគ្នាគួរតែធ្វើខ្លួនដូចជារុយនេះចឹងអ្នកនរគ្នាឃើញអារុយមួយដែលខ្ទាតជាងយ៉ាងបងពេលខ្លះភ្ញៀវគាត់ដឹងតាំងពីអត្តល័យដើមយើងទិញចូលអីទៀតចឹងណាចាគាត់ដឹងថាយើងយកចំណេញបានគេរយទៀតបន្តថ្លៃយើង
Schizophrenia Simulator The Daily
ប្រសិនជាអ្នកចង់សម្រេច
ហ្នឹងគេឲ្យតម្លៃមនុស្សតែយើងនិយាយស្ដីវាផ្អែមឆាតអីទៅវាផ្អែមគេឲ្យតម្លៃយើងណានៅតែសកម្មភាពទៅធ្វើសូនហើយបើណានិយាយកម្រឿយទៀមខំเอาកំរក់កប់ពុកឲ្យវាលេងសោយឯងស្អប់ជាងឯងមែនតែសម្រាប់ខ្ញុំចូលចិត្តអាណា
Donald Trump woke up and threatened Iran first.
Why it really does matter.
Why are these people as stupid as they are? You ever think about that?
This elite fighting force is one of the key reasons Iran's regime is still in power, despite mass protests and an economy in freefall. It's called the Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps, or the IRGC. But can the Islamic Republic rely on them for much longer?
Over the past almost 5 decades, the IRGC has become the most important element to the regime.
The Revolutionary Guard isn't part of Iran's military, but it has its own navy, air force, and 180,000 full-time soldiers. It also has an overseas special force known as the Quds Militia, and hundreds of thousands of volunteers across Iran known as the Basij Militia, waiting in the wings for when more boots on the ground are needed back home. So added together, you have close to 1 million people ready to act under the IRGC's banner. While the army exists to protect Iran's borders, the IRGC's mission is written into the constitution of guarding the Iranian Revolution of 1979 that marked the beginning of the Islamic Republic. And despite demonstrations and political unrest over the past 5 decades, including the unprecedented movement that was...
New reporting in the Wall Street Journal indicates President Trump is still asking aides to draw up decisive plans to strike Iran. We know U.S. officials say that both THAAD and Patriot missile defense systems are on their way to the Middle East, along with a number of U.S. military assets. Now, the president yesterday was asked about Iran during a press briefing at the White House and said this.
I want to ask you about Iran. Is the military option still on the table? And can you assure us that the killing in Iran has stopped? And when regard to the Peace Council, which members have to pay $1 billion?
So with Iran, are you from Iran?
No, I cover the White House.
Where are you from?
I'm Palestinian American.
So with Iran, they were going to hang 837 people, and I let them be known that, and we let them know that if that happens, that will be a very bad day for them. And they decided not to do it. They didn't hang the people. I can't tell you what's going to happen in the future, but supposedly they've taken that off the table. But they were going to, last week, they were going to hang on Thursday or Wednesday. They were going to hang, I think, 837 people, and they didn't hang anybody. So we're just going to have to see what happens with Iran. Is the military option off the table?
U.S. tankers have also been tracked from the United States toward the Middle East, and the president, in an interview overnight, said that if Iran tried to assassinate him, as some threats have indicated, that he has already given instructions to wipe them off the face of this earth. And so we'll continue to cover this story as it develops here from the Middle East.
Look, something is happening right now, and it's not small. The U.S. has openly left the door open to a preemptive strike on Iran. That sounds like politics. But in reality, it's a signal, a war signal. Iran immediately responded by saying they're ready for every scenario. And what worries me isn't Iran itself. It's what comes after the first strike. Because if we move first, our troops, our bases, our ships, our people are all within range of retaliation. That's not emotion, that's geography. Supporters will say, this is the only way to stop Iran from getting nuclear weapons. Maybe, but history in the Middle East teaches us something very clearly. There is no such thing as a clean, quick strike. Once escalation begins, gas prices rise, inflation comes back, and the people who pay the price are never the ones making the decision. So the real question is this: are we preventing a war, or are we just choosing when the next one begins?
Trump plans to take out the Iranian government with airstrikes. According to the New York Times, the Israelis are pushing for a strike to take out all of the Iranian government leaders, which would lead to a power grab in Iran, and the Americans would drop in their friend Reza Pahlavi to try to take this power. As of now, the American aircraft carrier in the region is weirdly hiding behind the mountains of Oman to make sure they're out of range of any Iranian ballistic missiles. And in Israel, air defenses have propped up all across the country, because if the Iranian leadership is taken out, they have plans to launch up to 15,000 missiles at the Israelis. And if we know anything back from June, these missiles are going to hit. The Iranians have deployed their droned aircraft carrier, which would launch hundreds of drone swarms against the American aircraft carrier. And any drone swarm over about 50 drones would take out an entire carrier, which is why the carrier, as I said, is hiding behind the mountains of Oman. This is just one of the ways right now the Americans are planning. Comment your thoughts and follow me for the newest update.
The last 10 minutes of the Champions League phase were the most dramatic thing I've ever seen in my life. And when I show you everything that happened in those final 10 minutes, you're going to agree with me. PSV, who were 1-0 down to Bayern, scored an unbelievable goal to draw them level at 1-1 and send them through as it stood. They were through, Bodo Glimt were through, who were beating Atletico Madrid away, and Marseille were through, who were losing 2-0. But as you can see here, from USG, Paphos, Napoli, Olympiacos, Athletic, Benfica, Marseille, Bodo Glimt and PSV, they're all on 9 points, with 10 minutes left. But then the next twist, as Olympiacos scored away at Ajax to give themselves a 2-1 lead, and jump from 27th to 18th. They're now qualifying, knocking Marseille out, and leaving Bodo Glimt and PSV on the edge. But then comes the next twist. Marseille, who are right on the edge and 2-0 down, concede again. This is really important because now they go 3-0 down, and that goal puts them on the same goal difference as Benfica, and only 1 ahead of Athletic, 2 ahead of Napoli, and 2 ahead of Paphos. That's going to be important, but there's another twist, because Napoli, who are also right on the edge, are under pressure. And João Pedro scores, and now Napoli fall further and further behind. But before I show you the table, at that exact moment, PSV, who had been drawing to Bayern, concede really late on to a Harry Kane brilliant goal. And now PSV drop all the way down to 29th from being in the playoff places. Marseille move up a place to the playoffs, and now it's really looking like a straight shootout between Marseille and Benfica, unless obviously Bilbao can get a goal against Sporting or Bodo concede against Atletico. With Paphos still in and around it, only 2 goals off Marseille and Benfica. And speaking of Paphos, who were 2-1 up and in need of 2 goals, they get one to go 3-1 up against Slavia Prague. They clearly don't know the situation and celebrate the goal, not knowing that they need another 2, but they put the league table on the scoreboard and they get back quickly. And amazingly, 1 minute later, Paphos score again to go 4-1 up. And now they are joint on 9 points and -3 goal difference with Benfica and Marseille. So as I said, Bodo Glimt holding on to their win against Atletico. If they concede, it all changes. Athletic Bilbao drawing to Sporting. If they can get a goal, it all changes. And in stoppage time, there is a goal in that Bilbao Sporting game. But it's not for Bilbao. They concede with pretty much the last kick of the game to cue unbelievable limbs. And Bilbao are out. The Marseille game finishes 3-0, and the Paphos game ends 4-1, meaning Paphos were 1 goal away, but not quite. And Marseille are still clinging on to that final playoff spot. But obviously, a goal from Atletico Madrid would knock Bodo out, and remarkably, I've not even spoken about them yet, if Monaco were to concede, they get knocked out. But Monaco don't concede, they hold on for a 0-0 draw, they're through, and remarkably, Bodo can become the first team to beat Atletico Madrid away from home this season, and they're through. Meaning the last 10 minutes of unbelievable change pretty much done, except for one thing. Every game is finished but Benfica, Real Madrid. And if Benfica do somehow find a goal against Real Madrid, they will leapfrog Marseille, Marseille will go out, and Benfica will go through. But I don't think anyone's told Benfica this, who are wasting time, despite the fact they need a goal. Mourinho urges them forward, Real Madrid randomly get 2 red cards, Benfica are now playing against 9 men, and with the final attack of the game, Benfica have a free kick to end this 10 minutes of absolute madness in the best competition on the planet. What do you think happens here? Benfica cross it in, Their keeper, who has come up for the free kick, wins the header, scores the goal, wins the game. What a perfect ending to a perfect 10 minutes of Champions League football. The best limbs I've ever seen. Mourinho's running down the touchline like it's 04. The Benfica game finishes, and Benfica leapfrog Marseille, meaning they are the final team to book their place in the next round of the Champions League. And breathe.
Developing news coming out today that it looks like a U.S. attack on Iran is set. As take a look at the latest headlines with me. Reports that U.S. aircraft carrier, the USS Lincoln, is now within striking distance of Iran. The USS Lincoln that are thought to be heading towards the Middle East, they're saying they have now arrived and are within striking distance. Donald Trump's armada nears the Middle East amid reports that the USS Lincoln, it is now in striking distance. Iran warns that any attack will mean all-out war after Trump says that the U.S. Armada is on its way. Here's another one. The IRGC leader warns Iran has its finger on the trigger as it awaits the U.S. Armada more ready than ever, they are saying. We're hearing that Iran's supreme leader has retreated underground, warned of the likelihood of a U.S. airstrike, and they're saying that the likelihood is so high that he has decided to get underground in Iran. And this coming out today, just a little while ago, Iran unveiled a mural warning of retaliation if the United States conducts a military strike. And take a look at this mural. I'm going to play for you some video footage from different angles. This is in Tehran, and you can see here on the left, the blue is the USS Abraham Lincoln, and you can see the white stars are explosions that are happening on the surface of the Lincoln. Tehran is saying that they will bomb the Abraham Lincoln, and you can see they are hitting the aircrafts, they are hitting the individuals, there are piles of blood, and in the water to the right you can see it is in motion, and it's a mixture of waves and blood is the red-white stripes in the water. So Tehran put this mural out of the American flag, and it is Iran bombing the USS Abraham Lincoln today, and they said they are ready on all fronts. Very provocative mural released today by Iran, warning the United States of what is to come, as we're hearing that it appears a U.S. attack, a strike on Iran, it appears to be imminent. The reports say that Jordan and the United Arab Emirates are going to be supporting the potential U.S. attack on Iran. We're hearing that this is likely going to be unfolding, and they are going to have other nations supporting them in the attack. And in addition to that, Israel itself, IDF, ready on all fronts if the U.S. attack on Iran sparks retaliation. We had heard Israel had told the United States to hold off on an attack from Iran because they weren't ready for a retaliatory strike. Well, we're hearing now, giving the United States the thumbs up, the green light, saying, go ahead, we're ready. And now we're hearing the USS Abraham is now in position. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. Do you think that the United States is going to be striking Iran here very soon in the coming days? I'm going to be playing for you some video footage that has come out in the last 24 hours. And the reports are, yes,
when President Trump said we're not getting a nuclear Iran, you won't have a nuclear bomb, he meant it. And we sent those B-2s halfway around the world, and they never noticed. When he said we're not going to tolerate trafficking drugs anymore in our hemisphere, we treat them like the Al-Qaeda of the Western Hemisphere, he meant it, and we're executing that. When you said, Mr. President, we're securing the border, the military was proud to do their part alongside Homeland Security to do that. Same thing with Iran right now, ensuring that they have all the options to make a deal. They should not pursue nuclear capabilities. We will be prepared to deliver whatever this president expects of the War Department.
Let's talk about Iran.
Let's talk about Iran.
Oh, fantastic. Okay.
Do you support Iran?
Okay. Well, let me ask you a question. Iran was attacked on April the 1st, right? It was attacked. The embassy of Iran was attacked in Syria by Israel. After that, on the first occasion, they then sent missiles and drones, correct? Now, my question to you is, does Iran have a right to defend itself? And if so, what is a proportionate response? Because you see, I've been having a moral quandary about the issue, Piers Morgan. What's a proportionate response for Iran?
I'll tell you what I think about Iran. I think Iran is an unbelievably nefarious place which has been fueling Hamas, the Houthis, Hezbollah for many years with a joint
does that have right to defend
joint ideology that they want to eradicate Israel in any way they can.
Okay. Does that have
so
right
I think Iran is one of the most despicable
regimes
in the world. I also think that right now, the Iranian regime is in serious danger.
You're completely discombobulated.
What do you mean?
You're disheveled.
I'm telling you what I think of Iran.
I'm asking you, do they have a right to defend themselves? Do you think they have a right to defend themselves? Well, so you can answer the question. Do they have a right to defend? They were attacked. The sovereign nation was attacked. My question is, does it have a right to defend?
Iran has been fueling
Isn't that the
attacks
question
on
you've been
Israel
asking?
now for what, 40 years?
I've been having a moral quandary about it. I've been having a moral quandary about Iran.
Have you?
Yeah, moral quandary, yes. Moral quandary, I don't know. Do they have a right to defend themselves? And if so, what is the proportion of
You're
response?
supporting Iran, to be clear.
I'm asking you, no,
Are
I'm
you
not
supporting Iran?
I'm not supporting, I'm antithetical to many of these organizations for my own purposes. But my question to you...
Do you support the Iranian regime?
Not unconditionally, but I support their right...
What conditions do you agree with them about?
Their right to defend themselves. Do you believe they have a right to defend themselves?
No, they're terrorists.
Oh, so they don't have a right to defend themselves? Iran does not have a right to defend itself?
They do, but they're not the ones.
So what is proportionate response?
They're not the ones.
What's the proportionate response? No,
Can I answer it?
You asked this question to the
You're
people.
just going to keep talking. Can I answer it?
What's the proportionate response?
The proportionate response to Iran is to stop them trying to destroy Israel through their proxies, Hezbollah, the Houthis, and Hamas. What they've been trying to do for many years.
What is a proportionate response of Iran after the embassy was smashed and destroyed in Syria and 16 people were killed? What's the proportionate response?
Well, what about the proportionate response to everything Iran's done?
Which is against the Vienna Conventions.
What about the response to everything Iran
What
has
did
been
Iran
doing?
do to Israel? Who did they kill? Who did they?
They've never killed anybody.
Who
Iran.
did they?
How deluded are you,
No,
Mohammed?
excuse me. Hold on. Which Israeli civilian have Iran successfully targeted? Give me one name.
You don't think Iran's been responsible for any Israeli civilian dying?
I'm asking you to edify
What about
me.
the way they funded Hamas?
You can both edify me.
1,200 people in Israel.
Iran in
October the
particular. I'm not
7th.
talking about Hamas. We've spoken about Hamas at length. We're
But
talking about
I
Iran.
can do it through their
We're talking
specific
about Iran's
names.
old news. You're talking about
Let's let
Hamas.
Alan respond.
Yes, go ahead. Who did they successfully target?
The United States can't take over Iran. I'm not saying that like we can't, like, oh no, we shouldn't take over that country. I'm saying we literally cannot do that. It's not a possibility. Fight me in the comment. Get in the car, kids. We're going to do some geopolitics. And that means looking at some maps. This is a map of Iran, and all of this red stuff